Hey, what's up, y'all? It's me, Nate Almighty, and I'm back with a kind of video that a lot of my most recent subscribers to my channel are not going to be familiar with. But if you guys been rocking with me for some years now, or maybe you are privy enough to come across videos that I made in the past as I get into making similar videos again, because I want to start showing you guys my entire life again and my journey. I made a video that got thousands of views that was called the top 10 reasons to leave your baby mama immediately, right? And then I made another video called if your baby mother is acting up, starve her. A lot of people were very receptive to my video of the former, which was the top 10 reasons to leave your baby mother now and immediately. And I'm here to tell you guys today, right? I'm here to hold myself accountable years later and tell you guys that I am a hypocrite. The reason why I'm a hypocrite is because when I made that video, I was extremely upset with my baby mother and I did leave her. However, in my own way, not even in my own way, I absolutely spun the block as of a year and a half, 2 years ago. I spun the block and we ended up having another child. So now I have a 13-year-old with this woman, and I also have a 4-month-old with this woman. And I'm here to tell you guys today that I spun the block, I got back with my baby mama, and it was a terrible idea. Terrible idea. Unfortunately, one of the worst decisions that I made in my life. So what I want to do is, I want to explain to you guys why I'm a hypocrite, how did I end up getting back with my baby mother, all of the things that I went through within the last 2 years, and what I'm currently going through as being somebody who spun the block, got my baby mother pregnant again. We had another child, and now here we are, not dealing with each other anymore, being in a very bad place, but still having to deal with this newborn, this innocent baby girl, by the way, my first daughter. Her name's Callie, who didn't ask to be here, but we still decided to make her. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get my bifocal game on, gonna put my glasses on, right? As I read the notes and I keep it real with you guys about my journey, and I wanna be the reason why none of you fools, like I was being a fool, decide to spin the block and get back with your baby mama, okay? This will be undeniable evidence and proof why you should not be like me. This is going to be an educational video for the men of you who are like me, who you like to sleep around and you're someone who's destined to have multiple baby mamas like me. This one is for you. Those of you who do not want to have multiple baby mamas, want to have years of ongoing baby mama drama, okay? And we are going to start right here, okay? I got back with my baby mama, and it was a terrible idea. First thing I want to do is, I want to open up with some accountability. I am not one of these guys on the internet who wants to blame women for everything. I am somebody who, I like to have fun. If you see me blaming women for things, I'm doing it like as a joke, like as a troll. But I personally believe that every man is responsible for the pain that he causes in his own life. I'm also somebody who went through a lot of drama in my 20s, and when I decided to blame myself and not the girl I'm dealing with or anyone else, and I chose to be the reason why these things don't ever happen ever again in my life, I then found a higher frequency of peace of mind in my life. I then became more successful in life in general, right? I then became a better man. Yes, a still very flawed man, because I still fall for the flesh like a lot. Like I say no to a lot of shit, but I say yes to a lot of shit. But anyways, in regards to holding myself accountable, it was me. It was me who I realized that, you know what? This thing is going to go left and this thing is going to get a little bit ratchet, and I'm going to let you guys know why I got to hold myself accountable, okay? I could have prevented this whole situation myself, but over time I fell into the mental trap of wanting that old thing back. If you're somebody who has dealt with people and then not dealt with people, and it's been a while, then you understand how even though you could be in a better place and not be in a better place at the same time, or you could literally be in a better place, something about that familiarity that you have with someone, when you're getting along with that person, you choose to embrace that familiarity. And because you feel like you'll always love a person, and I'm speaking on myself when I say this, I felt like it was okay for us to be on a certain level of speaking terms again. And you know what? I don't even need my notes for the rest of this video. Let me put my notes down, right? I don't even need my glasses. How this situation went was, me and my baby mother, we from the same hood. So when you're dealing with a woman that's from your same hood, you also inevitably have to deal with the fact that if you're lucky, your baby mama will only end up sleeping with one person that you know if you're lucky. If you're unlucky and she's the slower, now you gotta be somebody who you dealing with the fact that you're gone in another state, right? And your baby mother is sleeping with, or ends up sleeping with, multiple people that you know over the course of 5 years. I'm not necessarily putting any like extra dicks in my baby mother body, but what I'm saying is that when you're dealing with a woman who is from your hood and you move out that hood, you know that the wool's gonna be on her. A bunch of dudes who was shaking your hand every day, acting like they the most loyal niggas in the world, they gonna try to put all types of penises inside your baby mama, right? Now, after going years of not getting along with my baby mother, we reached a point where we were not speaking anymore at all. It was just cordial, hardly speaking at all. This was before my son started living with me, in which my son is spending one more year with me before he goes back to live with his mom. Would have been longer if me and his mother was getting along, but we're not even going to speak on that. But anyways, I got to a very petty point one day where I first started getting along with my baby mother again. And then I'm hearing the ramblings of my baby mother being in a serious relationship with this guy, right? This guy whose name will be unnamed because he didn't do nothing to me. He's not really like a factor until I chose to make him a factor. And I got to a point where I was like, I'm cool with my baby mother. I bet I can hit again, right? I bet I can hit again just for the sake of my ego and me knowing that even though she's supposed to be in a committed relationship with this dude, I could easily hit again. So what I did was, I started getting familiar with my baby mother again. I ended up visiting in New York. I ended up cracking again, right? Like I knew I would. There was never any hesitation, right? I'm what you call an arrogant man, whereas I personally always feel like I'm the most handsome man a woman's ever been with. I also always feel like I'm the best lover that a woman's ever dealt with. I always feel like I'm the most player, the most emotionally in control, the best dressed. I am a severely like arrogant like nigga. Like when I read the definition of the term narcissist in the dictionary, to me it just seems like the definition of narcissist is somebody who loves themselves. Like, but anyways, so mission accomplished, and then I keep, you know what I'm saying, being familiar with my baby mother. What I didn't realize, or what I didn't pay attention to, is that there's this honeymoon phase. When you haven't dealt with somebody for years, and then you start dealing with them again, there's this honeymoon phase where you're not being reminded of all of the things that made this person your ex in the first place, right? So we cool, laughing, carrying on, having a good time, flirting all the time, you know what I mean? I'm saying things like, you shouldn't be talking to me like this. When your nigga find out, you gonna get in trouble, right? You know what I mean? She's playfully flirting back, talking about, hey, I don't got no man. Meanwhile, of course, I know you got a man, right? You know what I'm saying? There was never no commitment between me and her. So she had a man. They was on and off. So y'all know how it is when people is on and off, right? When you on, you on, and when you off, both people decide to sleep with whoever they want to sleep with, right? I'm saying this because I want to protect her honor. Nothing that I'm saying, I'm putting any more blame on her than on me as a man, because I feel like I'm the one who initiated this whole situation, right? And I'm going to get deeper, even deeper into why I decided to try to get cool with my baby mother again, right? But anyways, me and her began to start getting too familiar, and we started discussing making another baby. Now, this was wrong for us to even talk about, being that we were never officially talking about getting back together, right? Being that nothing was perfect between us, I admit that even though she was on and off with dude was way better for her. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, way nicer to her. Tolerates way more from her than I would from any woman. Definitely spending more money than me, right? Like, more dependable as far as financially. Like, I'm somebody who it never, like, I throw up on the inside. The thought of putting my money in a woman's hand, that's not like my mom or like my sister or something like that. Like I just naturally not a simp, naturally not like a trick of any kind, right? Like, kids, family, that's it. But anyways, me and her getting along, and she ends up getting pregnant. The moment she got pregnant, things immediately started taking a turn for the worse. There is a very, very, very deep story in regards to what happened in regards to me, my baby mother, and her dude at the time. There's a very serious story that I don't want to speak on right now because it's very, 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 very personal. Very personal. If someone would like to pay me in order to give that story, I will then give that story up because it's a lot of tragedy. But at the end of the day, a month after me and my baby mother make our baby, we are in Miami. This is when I start realizing that she's pregnant because she started talking about, having stomach pain and her boobs hurting and her starting to feel sick. I'm going to skip the point where I said about dude, but let's just say dude's not in the picture anymore at this point. No, he did not find out about me and her, and that's why he's not in the picture. There's just a whole way more effed up situation. But anyways, now we're dealing with her being in New York, being pregnant, me being in South Carolina, of course not being pregnant, but being a father. And now we're forced to really deal with each other and the reality of the situation. I will say that this baby was born out of love, of course. I would say that I don't regret making my daughter. I love my daughter very much. But the situation is very, very complicated. After a couple months, she comes down here pregnant. We get into a lot of fighting, not physically, but a lot of fighting is a lot of fighting. It's bad, right? My oldest son up here, he's seeing it. It's terrible. She pregnant. It's terrible, right? She's needing a certain level of comfort from me, a certain level of attention from me that it's just not in me to give her because we're not getting along, and I'm totally annoyed by her, right? And I know in the eyes of a woman, they expect a man to always just suck it up, right? And do what he's expected to do. But I'm somebody who I've seen too many men do that and end up getting screwed over on the other end. Or end up, right, not being happy years down the line. And I'm just somebody who I personally feel like I love myself too much to subjugate myself to doing something that I don't want to do if it involves a woman. Now, when it comes to children, there's never nothing that I feel like I don't want to do. So I'm always going to do what I can and what I feel like is called for. But anyways, things get broken. Some messed up things get said. She ends up not spending the amount of time that she's supposed to spend down here with me. She goes back to New York. We wait a couple months. I end up going to her place in New York City. And I'm going to hold myself totally accountable. I go in March to New York City for an entire month as I'm waiting the arrival of my daughter. In the middle of that, me and her not getting along, I choose to leave her space where I was being tolerated and go somewhere where I was being celebrated. And to make a long story short, I end up spending a day or two with a woman that she knows. I have a hell of a time, a lot of sex, some alcohol usage, some popping of ecstasy pills, and then I go back. I use an excuse of a situation that may or may not have happened, that she had no business involving herself with, and I used that as a reason to get out, and I got real flagrant about it. Like, when I was out dealing with the other girl, I was taking pictures, posting pictures, knowing that someone who she knew would see it, and it was just a whole thing. Like, it was a whole thing that she still ain't over, right? Like she still want to like fight the girl to this day. But anyways, this was just a toxic situation. And if you're someone who was like my mother, my sister, my family, who was telling me way before we even made the baby, when I was telling them, hey, look, me and my baby mother cool again, blah, 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 they was telling me the whole time, don't get back with this girl. Don't do that. Just like other people just like the people on my baby mother's side was saying the same shit. We chose not to listen. The baby's here. We dealing with it. I get back. There's some drama, but together we go to the hospital. As a man, I handle my responsibilities, and I make sure that my baby mother is not lonely when my child is born. Also, in regards to the birth of my child, there is a whole nother level of story where this thing gets very, very dark that I will not speak on as of now. You know what I mean? Maybe if my baby mother pisses me off enough, or or I get paid to do it, I'll tell y'all a lot of the real deep, sinister stuff that's going on, right? But right now, I'm focusing just on myself. But my baby's here. A couple days after my baby is born, I leave to go back to New York. Based off of all the negative energy that I was feeling, all the drama that I was dealing with. I couldn't even have the right energy to stay there for at least a month and be there with my baby. Yes, I know in the eyes of some of you watching this video at this point, you're going to be like, yo, man, you're supposed to be a man and stay there. I'm letting you guys know that I'm the type of person who... Anyways, let me just keep going, right? Let me just keep going. Fast forward a couple months, like a month ago, I had my baby mother and my baby come down here. And I get to spend some time with my baby for a couple weeks. Loving spending time with my baby, but obviously things are not right between me and my baby mother, right? And I'm realizing now after all of this that all of this shit is just very, very bad, right? Not to mention, my son is 13, my oldest son is 13, and he's in the house with us witnessing this. My baby girl is in the house witnessing this. But she too young, she's not gonna remember, but that energy is still around her. And now we got this little baby in the midst of it. And this is why it was a terrible idea for me to get back with my baby mother, even though I do not regret having my baby girl. But it was a terrible idea because now look, we got 2 kids, 13 years apart. My son is old enough to understand the turmoil that goes on between me and his mother. He often feels like he has to pick a side. As a father and as a man, I tell him, don't ever feel like you got to pick a side. You know what I'm saying? If anything, choose your mother first. Because I know that as a man, I'm built to where I can live without him. She is not built to where she can live without her children. Which is why he got to pick her side. Which is why after he graduates 8th grade, he will be going back to his mom to spend more time with his sister and to complete high school, right? I know that she let him stay with me for what's going to be 2 years because we were getting along. With me and her not getting along, I'm not going to have no peace having my son here. So this decision is definitely for the best. And when I think about it all, right, as I'm at this point today, which is currently July 30th, 2025, what I'm left with is this. The reason why I should have never got back with my baby mother is because now, first of all, some would say I now have 2 kids being raised in a broken home. I'm also somebody who is hypersensitive to thoughts of children being affected by predators and all types of... I'm familiar with a lot of articles and a lot of stories about young girls growing up in homes without their real fathers being there and family friends of the mom, or boyfriends, future husband of the mom, doing bad things to the daughter or the son, right? When the mother's not around. I'm somebody who takes my parenting very seriously. But I'm also someone who knows that the mother of a child is always going to compare what you do to what she does. So it's like this, right? If I was there every day to be in my child's face, but I didn't have the financial support to go with it, I would be judged for being a bum, being able to be there, right, to watch the baby, but not being able to financially support my child. Being that I'm in a different state and I'm not there for the day-to-day. Now I got to deal with the former things that I just said, plus the fact that I am providing financially. It's either going to be they're not financially providing enough, or it's going to be who cares about the finances? You're not here to be in your daughter's face every day. I was told multiple times by my daughter's mother, you haven't even been around your daughter like that. She don't know you. Of course, in the face of these despicable things being said to me, I gotta play it off like it doesn't affect me. But it does. But it does, especially somebody who is hypersensitive to the things that happen to young girls, especially young black girls. You know, there's just a whole lot of cons. There's some pros and cons, but there's a whole lot of cons that come with the decisions that we both made, but that I made as a man in deciding to have another child with my son's mother and then bringing that baby into the world. There is a lot of cons. One of the main pros that I will always say in regards to the situation is my son grew up watching me argue and physically fight with his mom, right? My son watched me be very angry, sweating profusely, being extremely disrespectful to his mother, right? Out of anger. What I can say is that I know for a fact my daughter, who's going to grow up and be a woman as well, she will never see me disrespect her mother the same way that my son did. And that is something that I went out my way to make sure happened, because I know for a fact if I wanted to, I could squash everything with my baby mother right now and say, hey, yo, listen, let's put the kids first, pack up everything, get on the Amtrak, move down here. I'll be waiting for y'all when y'all get here. We're going to have all the kids together. But I also know me and her, I'm not nice enough to be with that woman. She's a certain way to where I'm never going to allow myself to deal with what comes with dealing with that woman. You know what I mean? I'd rather miss out on time with my kids than allow my kids to see me be as low of a person that I am from dealing with that woman too much. But losing out on time with your kids and knowing that in those beginning years, my daughter's going to miss out on way more time with me than my son did, it does hurt a lot. It does bother me. And that's the number one reason why I got back on my baby mother. I spun the block. And it was a terrible fucking idea.
Can't teach that shit, nigga. Come on. That's target. That's touch my ink. That's on the dome, nigga.